Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the Wajid and Advaith show. This is a sub part of the average humans that we do. This is basically to discuss everything MMA, combat sports in general, but mostly focusing on the MMA side of it. And to be fair, mostly focusing on the UFC side of MMA. So because we have one FC, we have Bellator, we have all those things, but we mostly discuss UFC because we got to pick and choose our battles for when it comes to the MMA scene. So yeah, we're going with UFC. So me and Advait
Yeah.
have been talking about this for a very long time, and honestly, the whole Average Humans podcast also was actually initially just an MMA talk show between me and him, because we were quite passionate about this topic and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, then we decided, okay, let's just do a podcast and then just do this sub show where me and Advait just get together and discuss the things that we like. So yeah.
Sit back, relax as always. If you're an MMA fan, then I think you will definitely agree and disagree with us, and that's what we're here about. If you agree with us, well and good, let us know in the comments. And if you do disagree with us, we will be reading those comments and we are going to actually talk to y'all. We want to like build a community over here, and yeah, let's just see where it goes. So here's the first episode. So Wajid.
So just to give you a small background also with me and Advait. So Advait has some combat sports experience. He's done
Yeah.
a little bit of jiu-jitsu and stuff in his childhood and stuff like that. I've come from a taekwondo background and I've done kickboxing also, but that's when I was in school, so it doesn't count, to be honest. Like if you don't continue for after school and you don't continue throughout your adulthood, I don't think it truly what do you say counts. It's just that, just to
Yeah.
give you a small background from where our whole interest for combat sports started. Like Advait said, there will be a lot of disagreements between us maybe, and between you guys and us. By no means are we experts, and by no
Yeah.
means what do you say take whatever we say like we are some kind of experts. Don't do that. But yeah, we tried to analyze it from an average human perspective and just break down the fights and talk about what's happening in the MMA side, the controversies, or even the regular meme culture that is building up in the MMA scene with all the trash talking and all those things. And we just discuss MMA in general. So we're trying to make this a weekly thing, if not at least a bi-weekly thing.
Let's talk about the UFC card that just happened.
Yeah, UFC 263. So to be fair, we can't discuss the whole card because that's
Yeah.
prelims, early prelims, then the main card. So we decided let's just make this a short show and not make it long. So we think the fair enough starting point for our first MMA show would be the three main event, the two co-main event and the main event, basically.
Yeah. Let's talk about the last three fights basically of the card.
Yeah,
Starting off, Leon Edwards versus Nate Diaz. Come
the
on,
the
dude. Like,
OG
I don't
man, the
think there
OG.
isn't. I don't think there isn't a person who doesn't know the name Nate Diaz, or at least if you kind of give a little bit of a trigger, they will know, like, that who Nate Diaz is. I mean, coming
Yeah.
off from the Conor McGregor fight, like, Nate Diaz is just a global superstar. Like, he's been a superstar in our eyes as an MMA, like, for MMA true fans and all that, but
Yeah,
then from outside of the MMA world, like, he transcends that, right?
yeah,
And he fought a guy called Leon Edwards who, man, he deserves the title shot, right? He definitely does. He
definitely,
doesn't. He didn't even
definitely.
need this fight. He didn't
Yeah,
even need this fight. He
no,
actually
no, no.
needed to fight Kamaru, but
Yeah.
this fight happened, and wow, what a fight, dude! I loved the fight so much. Like, what did you think before I dive deep? Like, why don't you tell me what did you think of the fight?
So with the fight, right? Now let's take it in the perspective of a normal person who's watching the fight, okay?
Yeah,
Because maybe the people who've watched this fight, like you and me, we've been following combat sports for the longest of times, and
yeah.
I really can't remember when was the time that I haven't watched combat sports, right? So
Mm-hmm.
in a perspective of a normal person, they would be like, "What was the first round?" They were like, That was so boring for them because if you look at it, there were really very few contact. There was one takedown. It was on the ground
Yeah,
for a bit, and that's about it. Maybe the spinning back elbow was the highlight of the first round for many people,
yeah,
but that's what I love about Nate Diaz, right? So
yeah,
Leon Edwards is a tactician. He's the kind of guy who goes by the book, who's smart. He'll reserve his energy. He's not going to go be explosive. He's not going to waste his energy and utilize his energy in places where it's not required. And Nate Diaz is the right opposite of all those things. He throws the rule book out the window, and he's like the kind of guy who instigates the guy in front of you. He's like, come on,
yeah.
showing his back to the guy and stuff like that. You know.
No, he's like those street fighters, dude, but like a street fighter who's got skill,
Yeah,
basically.
definitely,
That's what
definitely.
Nate Diaz is. Nate
Yeah,
Diaz, a protege from the which one? Royce Gracie? No, Caesar Gracie.
I think
Yeah,
so.
I
Yeah,
think Caesar. Yeah,
yeah.
from the Caesar Gracie Academy with his brother Nick Diaz, and
The
I know
Diaz
all you big
brothers.
a West Coast guy from
Hmm.
Stockton, California. But let's be real, Nate Diaz, like he's done. Like he's done like in a competitive level, in a championship contention level. He's really done. I don't think he can keep up anymore. But why is he box office? Because of the fight we just saw.
Yeah,
Like it was good, right? The match was all like credit to Leon, right? Leon
yeah,
won this fight fair and square, dominated it, outclassed Nate
yeah.
Diaz. But in the end of the day, although he came out the winner of the fight, it was still a win-win for both guys because
Exactly.
Nate Diaz came out like the winner of the night more than anything else, right? Like the crowd just went crazy for him, right? They like
Yeah,
what pop he got just for entering, just for leaving the stage. Like anything he does, there's a pop for him. Why? Because the way the guy fights, like he doesn't chicken out from a real fight. He didn't need to fight a top guy like Leon Edwards. He had no business getting
yeah,
into that
exactly.
cage with Nate, right? I mean with Leon Edwards, but
Yeah.
he took it. Leon Edwards outclassed the guy, but at the same time, he didn't. He's got that never back down mentality, right? He gets hit with a nice counter shot. He'll shake it up like, okay, that's good. Give me more. Like he's like that. He's like he lusts for that, right? So he's into that, and then we go to the fifth round, right? So 1 to 4 rounds was basically that Leon outclassing him in
No,
strikes,
the
in kicks, in
composure
takedowns
though.
here and there.
The composure
Oh
that
yeah,
Leon showed, like I'm pretty sure if it was any other fighter in there, they would have got irritated and they would have done something stupid, for sure.
yeah,
For sure.
yeah, yeah,
And I feel
yeah.
in that regards, Leon Edwards maintained his composure and he fought that fight. It was clinical from his side, but like you said, the round five turned things around.
Round five.
It was like a resurrection or some kind of resurrection from
What? It
Nate
happened in the
Diaz, man.
last minute of the round. Last minute of the
Yeah,
last round.
dude. Yeah, dude. I
So,
swear.
so yeah, so it's basically what happened was for those who didn't see it, right? I mean, I'm sure you would have seen the highlights, like the last minute of the last round in a non-title five-round match. Nate Diaz busted open from both sides of his heads. I think like it was both sides of his head, right?
Yeah.
He was busted open. He was battered by Leon, but still the guy was able to land a clean 1-2 and rocked Leon Edwards. Rocked him.
Yeah,
I mean,
sir.
that man was on like I mean that those were wobbly legs, dude. Had he rocked him a little bit harder, probably he would have been on chicken legs, like spaghetti legs,
Bro,
proper
I'm
spaghetti
telling
legs.
you, if Nate had the strength to follow up, right, it would have been a
Yeah,
TKO for sure.
yeah. But
It
I don't
look
know. Like
no, because
I
I saw
think,
his face, right? I saw the close up when the replay showed after the fight, and when they showed the replay, you see those eyes, that moment
dude, his
your
eyes were
eyes go
lost. His eyes were
blank.
seeing stars. Yeah, it was
Yeah, I saw
gone.
that. Yeah, I saw that, and I was like, oh shit! If Nate actually did do the follow-ups, there was a chance, there was a
Yeah,
chance.
yeah,
But that's
yeah.
what makes him
But
great.
yeah, true. I mean, Kudos on Leon, right? What he did was right. After getting rocked, he immediately stepped back to the cage. So if in
Exactly, yeah.
case he has to take a barrage of hits, he can at least balance out on the back of the
Yeah.
cage, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's good. What he did instinctually. That's why he's in contention for the championship.
Yeah.
But Nate Diaz rocked him, and that just shocked the people. He was so close for a upset. Like if you remember in the Conor McGregor first fight, right? He
Yeah.
rocked Conor, and then Conor like immediately shot instead of going back to the cage.
Yeah.
Right? He took a shot at wrestling, and then he was able to choke him out.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. That just shows where Leon is at
Leonis, yeah.
levels, right, in the sport. But sadly, I wish Nate could have finished it. Like I wish he had just pressed forward more than just pointing at him saying, "Haha, gotcha."
Exactly. I was like, dude, no, no,
but
no, go. I'm like,
but
what
that's why
the
we
hell?
love Nate also, right? Nate enjoys this stuff. And then did you see in the post fight presser what he said? He's like in real life at the streets, that fight would have been over.
Over.
And
Yeah.
I'm just like, yeah, he has a point because yeah, you can get busted up and all that, but if you get a man wobbled and knocked out, yeah, the fight is over in the
Yeah, it's
streets,
over. It's
right?
over. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it was a great fight. I loved that fight so much. I'm happy for Leon Edwards, but at the same time, I do feel for him because the guy is not able to get the spotlight on him as he really
No,
needs to, so that he can
no.
really get that. I mean, I don't think Dana White's really interested in that fight since already Kamaru has beaten him. Kamaru being the welterweight champion of the division, he's already beaten him, and I think he beat him quite dominatingly, right?
But dude, a 10 win streak is impressive. A 10-win
Impressive, exactly.
streak is an impressive streak. He wasn't active in 2020. He came back for the fight against Bilal Mohammed. We know how that ended. It was a
Oh,
sad story
unlucky there.
that was very unlucky. So yeah, but then again, I'm glad it happened like that. That's why he got the Nate Diaz fight. Otherwise, the Nate Diaz fight wouldn't have happened.
But
You know what I mean?
remember, Nate Diaz fight also fell out after they first fixed it because of some
Yeah, yeah,
injury from
yeah,
Nate's side. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
his
That's
luck has just been a series of
it's
unfortunate
been
events for
bad.
him.
And the worst part is after all that, Kumaro just I think he tweeted or he put it on Instagram. I'm not sure where he put it out on, that he didn't see anything special in the fight and stuff like that. I'm like, come on, dude. If you're a fighting champ, the next logical guy is what do you say, Leon Edwards. But then again, this goes back to the whole point that Kumar Usman is not the most electrifying champion. So if you put Kumar
I
Usman
mean, is he
and
box
Leon,
office? Nah.
yeah, exactly. So if you put Kumar Usman and Leon Edwards in the same fight, yes,
Yeah. I mean,
yes, the MMA fans are gonna get a good fight, right? But
yeah,
is
true, true.
Uncle Dana gonna make the bling bling? That is the
I
question.
mean, it's clear, right? Like today, people do care about Kamaru Usman because he knocked out Masvidal, right?
Yeah,
If they didn't care about him before, they care about him right
but
now
him
because
now, yeah,
Masvidal was out. He did come outside of the MMA world, right? People know him
yeah,
outside of that world,
yeah.
so now people do care about Kamaru Usman. But Leon Edwards, like, no man, nobody's going to really care. I mean, if he really plays this game smart, he can turn this whole Nate Diaz fight that he just had into, I don't know, like if a Kobe Covington went through what Leon just went through, right? He would have been juicing this entire thing in Twitter and all that and made people like angry, and then people would start caring about the fight. And Leon needs to like think of doing something like that. He needs to get the people to care. Like, yeah, MMA junkies like us will definitely care big time. But
Yeah,
if you really want to keep it moving, like we're just not the only ones that can help you move the
exactly.
needle. Like you need to really make other people care. And I don't think Leon is doing a good job at all on that aspect.
So let's take this in WWE terms. He's too much of a baby face.
True, yeah. I mean, I don't think he's neither a baby face nor a heel because you
He
care
just
about
doesn't know
both, right?
how to. He just doesn't know
Yeah,
how to get the attention, I feel. That's the problem with him.
exactly.
And
Exactly.
when it comes to making the big money, you need to have that attention-seeking quality. Even if you look at it, I think Dana would go for Kamaru versus Colby Covington because that would
He
make a
is.
lot of money. That would make a lot of
Yeah, if
money,
I'm not wrong,
you know.
that is fixed and it's not official yet from UFC side, but that is the direction they are
Yeah,
going at. And I think,
but that is so stupid. You have a guy who's got a 10 win streak, and you have a guy who's beat and already beaten. I shouldn't say this, but Tyron Woodley was one of the greatest in the
Mm-hmm.
welterweight division. But yeah, we know what happened in his past three fights, and yeah, you have a guy who's beaten and already beaten Tyron and getting a title
Yeah.
shot does not make sense. It does not compute for me. But then again,
Yeah.
this is one of the things with UFC, right? You remember the Chandler Smith situation after one win in UFC gets a title shot.
Yeah.
Dana has always done this. Like I always felt that he looks for the box office rather than the person, who makes logical sense.
Yeah.
And most of the times, that logical sense sometimes perfectly fits with his box office. And when it
Yeah.
doesn't fit, like Leon Edwards and stuff like that, he just ignores it.
This is an idea I just came up with right now. Like, I don't know. Like, tell me what you think. So, if Leon wants to, he deserves a title shot. There's no denying that, right?
Yeah.
But I think his next fight shouldn't be for the title. I
Colby
think we
Covington.
need to. No, because
Then?
Kobe and Usman is going to happen, right? So that's going to
Okay.
happen in, say, in a couple of months, right? It's going to
Yeah.
happen, or probably in July it'll happen.
Yeah.
And then October or November, we can have a Leon Edwards versus Masvidal.
Masvidal.
That fight needs to happen, right? We need to
Yeah,
have,
yeah,
because remember the three piece and a soda.
yeah, 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 yeah.
so
Definitely,
so we
definitely.
need that fight to happen, and if Leon is able to pull off a great victory, like say he gets a knockout over Masvidal, people are gonna watch Leon versus Usman next if Usman
For sure,
beats
yeah.
Kobe Covington.
Yeah.
And that they can open the new year, they can open 2022 with that match,
Yeah.
with that
Makes
card.
sense. Makes sense.
It makes sense, right?
Makes sense.
So
But now, do you
yeah.
think Leon is going to take anything other than the title shot? That's also there.
Now, this is where you need to be smart in how you play your cards, right? And I think, like, you know how Uncle Chael always says, right? You got to know how to play the game, right? And I think Leon needs to understand that he just made a name by beating Nate Diaz, although Nate Diaz stole the spotlight and everybody cares about Diaz more than anything else.
Yeah.
Like, we love what Edwards did, but at the same time, we will always talk about what Nate Diaz did more,
True.
although he
True.
lost, right?
True.
So
True.
he needs another fight like that on his bag, and an easy fight. Technically, in my opinion, I would say Masvidal is an easy fight for him. Masvidal is an easy
Mazda,
fight for him
yeah, for him, yeah. We
because
shouldn't
I'll tell you
say
why.
this. We shouldn't say this.
Masvidal's got speed.
I
Okay,
yeah, I
yeah.
hate saying that any fight is an easy fight for anyone, but yeah,
Yeah,
Leon Edwards is miles ahead of
yeah.
Masvidal when it
Because
comes to his
I'm I
technique.
only say that with his resume, right?
Yeah,
Because his resume versus Masvidal's, right? Even though Masvidal he's experienced fighter, but actively Leon Edwards has been dealing with the current competition more
yeah,
actively than
yeah,
Masvidal has, right?
yeah.
And I
True.
really think that because of that, see, look, when a fighter goes through these wars, I really feel like they get weathered out. And Leon
Yeah,
hasn't gone through wars, right? He
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
really injured with the Diaz fight. He just got
No.
rocked. He didn't get
Yeah,
injured. He didn't get cut up. Nothing, right? So
no.
I think he still has that that pace with strength where Masvidal, he's got speed, but he doesn't really have the power that people expect him to have, because I think that was what was exposed in the Usman
Plus,
fight, right? He
plus,
didn't
I
really
don't
have that
think
power.
Masvidal can go 5 rounds. To be honest, I really don't think
Yeah, I
he
mean
can go.
Masvidal is just he's weak when it comes to being wrestled down. He doesn't know how to
Yeah.
defend
No,
once he's taken down.
yeah, yeah, yeah. His defense tactics is kind of poor when it comes to
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway,
Okay,
so
let's move on to the next
yeah,
fight.
let's move on to the next fight. I always butcher his name. Davison Figueiredo versus
Not
Brandon
bad.
Moreno. I got it. I got it this time. So yeah, props to me. It's a typical featherweight fight, high pace. But listen,
Flyweight,
high
right?
pace,
Flyweight,
flyweights. Yeah,
flyweight.
sorry, flyweight,
Yeah.
featherweight. What am I saying? Flyweight, 125. Sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah, but Figueiredo didn't look good in the whole fight. I
True.
felt he was
I
slow.
think over.
I felt he was slow.
I've. Yeah.
He
So did
was
you
not.
watch the whole build up to the fight?
What do you mean? The press conference and stuff?
The press conference
Yeah,
and
yeah,
all
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
other
yeah, yeah,
whatever
yeah, yeah.
content came out.
Yeah,
little dark vibes I got from Figueiredo. Like he's trying to portray to be this bad guy, and he has
yeah. Mm.
he has an axe to grind with Moreno. And Moreno
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like, bro, we just duked it out the last fight, and now we're duking it out again. Like, what's the
yeah.
deal?
That's all. Yeah.
Yeah, and dude, like, there's something about these. Like Assassin Baby, right? That's his
Yeah.
Instagram profile, if I'm not wrong, right? Like, there's something that calmness that Moreno had throughout the entire presser, and like fist bumping Nate Diaz while he's smoking a J, and and then he's asking the boss like, "Am I going to be big Dana?" And Dana's like, "You win this fight, you'll blow up," and he's just chill, he's just smiling away, and I was just like. Now that's a killer. That's a killer right there. He's got
D-
a right mentality. And Figueredo, I don't know, he tried to be this bad guy, because he's not a bad
it
guy
it
actually.
didn't fit. It did not fit his persona whatsoever. I was like,
Yeah, yeah,
why are you doing this? Like, you guys had a really good first fight,
yeah,
and the fans really want to see the second fight and see how it turns out. So just go ahead and do it. You don't need to do any kind of promotion, extra promotion, trying to be the
yeah,
heel and all those things. It doesn't make sense, you know. But it was kind of
yeah.
weird for me also. But towards
But at the
after the
same time,
match, you saw what happened.
yeah,
He switched back to
yeah,
his normal, respectful self and lifted Moreno up and stuff like that. So yeah,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
that was there.
But you know what? I think after ages, that was a very feel good fight, man. That was a feel good victory. Like, you
Mm,
know what's crazy? Like, Joe Rogan was pointing this out, right? Like, so after Moreno submitted Figueredo, and he's just walking around quietly, collected, and then suddenly, like, he realizes, like, oh my god, I just won the championship. Oh my god, I'm the first Mexican-born champion, and he's bawling his eyes out. Man, that was just a wonderful feeling. Is why I love this sport so
yeah,
much.
dude.
I
I
mean, I mean, that was such a great
The
moment, dude.
the other amazing feel good one was, listen, I have all respect for Zhang Weili and I'm not taking anything off her, but when Rose,
Rose,
Thug Rose,
yeah, man,
I'm the
Thug
best,
Rose.
I'm the best,
I am the best.
I am the best.
That was so cute and innocent, but damn, that's a thug right there, man. I mean,
Oh,
dude. Oh, I still can't. I'm still replaying that kick, dude. She landed
bro, imagine this is the same lady who went 5 rounds toe to toe
with,
with Joanna
yeah,
and won
yeah,
I believe they got the fight of the year, right? Last year,
yeah.
didn't
They
they?
got fight of the year. Yeah,
Yeah,
fight of the year.
th- and that's Jean Wei Li who got knocked out by that kick.
What's crazy is that both of
Wow.
those opponents have been knocked out by Tug Rose now, dude. Tug Rose has that on her resume sheet.
Yeah,
That's insane.
that's
Like she
insane.
went 2 rounds with Joanna in the first fight, and then all 5 rounds in the second fight,
Yeah,
and now knocked out in the first round itself, right?
first
With
round. Yes, first round itself with
Bailey.
Rose.
Man, the way her knees
Ah,
just buckled and she fell down, dude, it was crazy. But yeah,
and Wei was like, no, 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 I'm not knocked out. I'm not. I'm,
so
yeah,
sad. You hate to see that, right? But yeah, it
yeah.
is what it is.
It is what it is. Like, you know
Yeah,
what happened. You're seeing it right there,
yeah,
and you can't make any justification to it. But yeah, going back to the Moreno fight, like, it was really good to see Moreno, the confidence that he had in the ring and the fight. That's why I said Davison didn't look himself during the fight. Also, like, he was a
yeah,
little slow. It wasn't as fast as I would like to see him fight.
yeah,
So I don't know. I think they should. Do you think they should run it back? Because I feel they should run it back. Okay, given the fact that Moreno won in the fashion that he won, that's usually grounds for not running it back. But
yeah.
for me personally, looking at the way Figueiredo was fighting, I feel something was wrong. I feel something
True.
was up and he wasn't at his 100%. And
Yeah,
he's one of those guys who's not going to make excuses for himself and he's not going
yeah.
to come out and say that. So I think down the line they should run it back.
Down the line, I agree because right now I think now with the fact that we have a first Mexican-born champion in the flyweight, mind you, this division was supposed to be cut by Dana
Cut.
White.
Yeah.
He was ready to cut this, right? And
Yeah.
now look at where we are. We would have actually never had these fights, right?
Yeah.
So I think what from a business point of view, I think Moreno's in a good headspace right now, and I think he has the potential to stay as an active champion. So I think we need to just now stir the pot a bit with the remaining contenders and start making him get some defenses on Moreno's resumes, and then see where to go. And hopefully, probably Figueiredo should get one match, like prove himself again. Not prove himself, but like get the fans to get excited for the rematch. A
Yep.
trilogy, basically. Don't ever count the flyweights out. They are super fast. You may not need to know. So this is my way of looking at the flyweights. I may not need to care about the fighters. I may not need to know who the names are because I didn't really know Figueredo and Moreno like at all, right? But then you get these spectacular
Yeah.
fights, dude, and the fights that make you care more than anything else, right? And
Yeah.
that's what I'm down for. I love it when fights make you care about the fighters, right?
True. True.
And I really think that the flyweights are one of the most underrated weight divisions only because, dude, you get kung fu shit in that, man.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
get speed, you get athleticism, you get MMA, like epitome MMA moves in that
Yeah. You
division.
have
So I
proper
really think
kickboxing fights in flyweight. That's the thing.
exactly, yeah,
The flyweight and bantamweight right now, if Dana can uplift it, it's like I feel it's one of the most underrated what is it, weight divisions
so
right now.
true. Yeah, man.
Pure fighting.
I mean, yeah, man. I hope it stays. I hope it doesn't get cut. Congratulations to Marino.
Yeah,
Go kill it, man. I mean, show some more great matches for us. Show
exactly.
Mexico. I mean, show the Mexican pride. Mexico's doing good, man. MMA, we got a champion now in boxing. Canelo is just
Yeah,
ruling boxing. I mean,
yeah.
good times for the Mexicans in the fight world.
Even the heavyweight guy who won against Anthony Joshua again, he lost again though, but
Oh, Andy Ruiz.
Andrew is, yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah,
Mexico's coming up with quite a few fighters, so that's interesting
yeah,
and it's
yeah,
good.
yeah,
It's a good
yeah,
good thing to see. But then again, it's always been there, right? You've always seen Latin origin people in the fight
yeah,
scene for a very long time. It's not something new.
yeah.
It's just that from Mexico, yeah, it's coming up right
Yep,
now.
yep,
Because if you
yep.
look at Brazil, oh my God, like
Yeah,
I don't need to tell you the lightweight
yeah.
champ Amanda Nunes, all those
Nunes,
guys.
yeah.
So
The
yeah.
Brazilians and the Africans, man, they're killing
Yeah,
it now.
they're killing it to be
Yeah,
honest. Yeah, there was one
yeah.
Russian who was killing it, but he had to retire sadly. But yeah,
Yeah, Russians, I mean, let's not talk about Russians. They're a different kind of breed in itself, too.
see again with the Russian fighters, right? Marketability is very low, right?
Yeah,
B-
yeah.
I think it's because of the language barrier or whatever, whatnot. Like I still remember uh, Habib when he fought Edson Barboza, I believe, right? And that was the same card as where Conor McGregor fought Aldo
Conor
for the belt.
McGregor fought Aldo and Khabib fought in that same card? No.
Yeah, the yeah, 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 yeah. Habib and so Habib was given the fake contract by Dana, remember, for the championship.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. My God, we are going back. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm
All
going
that.
way back, bro. I'm going way back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'm going way back. So for all the people who are watching right now, we are going way back before Habib was Habib of today. Before
Yeah,
you all regular people started being like Habib, 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 Conor, Conor, Conor. Before that, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Uh, this was so I started following Habib when he came into the UFC, and I saw his fight against RDA, and I was like, wow, who is this guy? Like,
What a fight that was,
yeah,
man.
that was my reaction. Like, I was like, wow, who is this guy? And after the RDA fight, I've followed his career, right? So I'm
Yeah,
not like one of the guys who just jumped onto the hype train and stuff like that. So the reason I say this again, uh, Habib became Habib because of Conor.
true,
His stardom was only because of Conor. And I'm not going.
true.
I'm not. What do you say? Punching down Habib. I'm one of the biggest Habib fans you'll see out there on the planet. But his superstardom was because of the bad blood that Conor brought in, because of all those press conferences and all those negative shit that he got into the whole fight scene. That propelled Habib to the superstar level that he is right now. Because Habib in himself is a guy who I feel cannot push himself to that extent because he's a simple guy. He's like,
Yeah.
you want to fight me? Okay, let's go fight. That's it.
Yeah.
Like there's
Yeah.
no too much talking in the press conference. There's no hype show. There's nothing. There's no bling live. There is nothing of the sort that where you have the Floyd Mayweathers or even let's say the cringe king Mr. Henry Cejudo and all those guys do. He doesn't have any of those things. He's a very simple guy. Come train, go home, sleep, be with his family, again go back to training, eat good food. That one thing, he loves to eat food. So eat good food,
Yeah.
train,
I see the
yeah,
videos.
yeah, be with family and be the best ever, right? So
Yeah.
those kind of guys, they will always be the greatest, but they'll never
Hmm.
have superstardom. For example, okay, I'm gonna say something really blasphemous over here. Let's talk
Okay.
about George St. Pierre. Tell me, if you go out and do a general survey, just a general survey right now, okay?
Hmm.
How many
Hmm.
people outside
Yeah.
the MMA realm do you think will know GSP? Like they know Conor or a Habib?
But I'll tell you why. Obviously, they won't really know that, right? They won't be able to recognize that name. Just like if I had mentioned Chuck Liddell to them, right? Because they come from that era where
Yeah,
UFC was in that place, right? UFC did
yeah.
not transcend into like that time. They were on what, Fox Sports? No, they were just getting into Fox Sports.
They were
Before
just
that, they
getting
were on
into Fox,
Spike.
right? Yes,
Yeah.
Spike. Yeah, they
So
were on a Spike. Yeah,
yeah, they were on Spike and all that. So that time, the people who knew it was only basically American and Canadian based. It did not go
yeah,
as global as it is right now, right? So I think GSP, although he is brought up a lot right now, yeah, people do not really resonate with his name or identify that name as much as like a Conor or a Habib or any other guy like an Izzy,
yeah,
but only because like I think he comes from that different era and it was a different train at that time. What UFC was as a train, right? As a machine, it was a whole
yeah,
different thing. So he's a
yeah.
product of that machine of UFC. But today, I mean, if GSP was GSP of then now. And with the UFC, yeah, definitely all of us would know the name, right? But that's not because of lack of talent or lack of personality. It's
No, no,
just
no, no, no,
because,
no, no, no. I'm
yeah,
never saying it's lack of talent. I'm talking about the superstardom quality. I feel like so. Look, Khabib doesn't have
GSP
it.
had that humbleness, right? It's
Yeah,
basically
exactly.
all these humble guys don't
Yeah,
really
yeah,
get that stardom, right?
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
So
Kind
that's
of
the,
shows
that's
you, it kind
that.
of exposes what stardom is, right?
Yeah, exactly. See, for me, like
So yeah,
GSB is one of the greatest, right?
yeah,
And I know for a fact if he was fighting, if he was active today, unless he's fighting one of those controversial figures,
yeah,
he wouldn't get the name as he's deserving. But among the
yeah,
fight fans, obviously he is the greatest ever. So
yeah,
point in fact is again when we go back to Kamaru Usman, he's another
yeah,
champion, the
yeah.
most successful welterweight champion, right?
Yep,
The most.
yep,
He crossed
yep,
GSP, right?
yep, yep.
Still, if you go ask if you go ask a regular guy who watches combat sports once in a while, do you know Kumar Usman? I'm 100% sure
Mm,
they're gonna pull a blank. Same thing, if you go and
yeah.
ask them, do you know Francis Ngannou? They're gonna pull a blank.
Really, Phil Francis, because I think
Yes, for
heavyweight is a
sure.
different story in itself, right?
Nah, man, I'm 100% sure even for Francis Ngannou.
It's a superstar fact, that X factor,
Yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah.
yeah. So whether it's a good X factor or a bad X factor, like you gotta have that to become in that level. Where Habib, like, yeah, he didn't ask for it, but he
No,
got it,
he
and
got it.
he didn't. But one thing I'll give it to Habib, he didn't milk it. He
No.
didn't milk it
No,
at
no,
all,
no. He's just
right?
living his life like a normal person. You don't see him doing outrageous things on social media and calling
Yeah,
out people and doing any of those things. Even when he retired, he said, I'm retired. After that, there's no drama. Dana White kept pursuing him. That's a different story. But he just
yeah.
said, Dana, I'm done. There's nothing for me in the division anymore. And it was kind of true. Like, he had nothing in the division. So,
I
I know
mean,
we
if you
keep going
look at
off
olden
track.
times, yeah, I
Yeah.
know it's gonna happen a lot. So guys, just bear with us when we keep doing. Just going back, like I'll be quick about this. Like if you look at the ancient times of like warfare, right? Like gladiators and stuff, like where they were basically cutting people with swords, right? Like
Yeah, yeah.
stabbing and slicing and all that. And they had that mentality to look at that kind of an environment as a
Parental
sport,
advisory
right?
coming down the screen.
And so they really had to have a mindset of like an honor, like a code of honor, right? Like that's like very strong in their mindset,
Yeah,
right? That's why when you
yeah,
see
yeah.
all these movies, it's all about that honor and all that stuff. They're an
True,
honorable man. Habib, like you don't find that today. Like today, like you know how soft we are as human beings compared to the violent times of the past and all that. Like
true,
how
true.
what we consider as a violent sport, it's so soft in reality. Although I'm
Yeah.
glad that doesn't happen anymore
No,
today,
yeah,
but
obviously, obviously.
yeah, yeah. But
Obviously,
nonetheless,
we are not
you got
condoning
to like
killing or anything, but we are just
yeah,
saying
yeah,
like
yeah.
we're
But
just
you got to
comparing
see
the
like how
levels. That's
soft.
all.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
but certain aspects, like I think, like you know, Habib has taken that warrior's mentality of honor. Like if
yeah,
I put my word, that's it. Like there's no
yeah,
changing it, no matter how better life can get if I break it. Right.
yeah.
So he's
But
that
then
kind of a
again,
guy.
that's the thing again. You go back to the fact that he doesn't need it. Like even if he has 100 million in his bank account, I'm pretty sure he's gonna live his life the way he's living it right now.
Yeah. I mean, that's just upbringing, right? It varies from people to
Yeah,
people. That's just how he's brought up.
that's just how he's brought up. Like the worldly pleasures are not something that pleases him, and
Yeah.
it's I highly respect that man, to be honest. Like to be
Yeah.
under the lens of the world the way he is and live the way he's living, that's respectful, man. Like I don't think
Yeah.
even any of us could, you know when we are at that, if we were ever at that level, I don't think we can, live like that. It's
Yeah.
commendable, to be honest. It's really
Yeah.
commendable, to be honest. That's the same thing with
Yeah.
GSP also, if you look at him, right?
Dude, do you look at him now? He's such a disciplined guy with his
Yeah,
fitness and everything, his nutrition, how
exactly.
fit he looks.
Exactly. And I'm like, dude, you can still kick ass, man, if
They're
you
just
want
cut
to.
from a different cloth.
Yeah, man. But then again, see what he's saying. He's like, I know I have the potential, but he just doesn't want to come in and,
Yeah,
fight anymore. He's done. And it makes total sense. Like, if you're done, you're done. You
yeah,
don't say you're
true.
done, you retire like 4, 5 times, like how what do you say, Mr. McGregor does on Twitter, and comes back again telling, "Oh, we're back. The king is back." I'm like, come on, dude. That kind of gets old, That kind of get
Connor
old.
falls under rise and fall, and Habib and GSP fall under rise and dominance, right?
Dominate. Yeah,
That's.
yeah,
Let's move on to the next fight. it's, we've been dragging on for quite a bit.
yeah.
So the
Yeah.
final main
Final
card,
card.
Izzy
Okay.
versus Vettori.
Vettori was
Yeah,
stupid. Okay. We'll talk about Israel. We'll talk about Izzy
yeah.
later. But for me, Vettori was stupid. I felt
Hmm.
at times he was extremely delusional during the
Hmm.
fight. And for me, to be honest, he could have done better if he could
Hmm.
have composed himself.
Okay.
This is the
Okay.
short review about Vittori's performance. Izzy, one word, clinical. He played Vittori to the T.
Yeah.
He knew which buttons to push. He knew how to approach this fight. He knew that if he wants to go 5 rounds, he can do it 5 rounds. If he wants to finish it off early, he could have finished it off early. But I feel there is some part of me which feels that he let it go 5 rounds. There's
Yeah.
some part
Yeah.
of me which
Yeah.
feels that he let it go 5 rounds, but it was just clinical, man. I couldn't. I don't think there's anything that I would take away from Izzy's game plan when he came into this fight. But that's being said, another controversial statement. I think Izzy has holes in his game.
What I thought about this, first of all, leading up to this fight, entertainment. Oh my God, I loved it. I loved how it was beautiful to watch when a guy gets like when you have a person in your fingertips, right? And that's
Yeah,
what Izzy did to Vettori before the fight itself, right? And
yeah,
I don't know what Vettori was doing, play like catching that bait, but he did. Unfortunately, he had the potential to become the first Italian-born champion of the UFC, right? But he screwed it up. You know what? Like I'm gonna point this out. I was never like into the Vettori hype train. Nor do I think there was much of a hype train. Yes, he did beat fighters and all that, but I do believe this. Like Izzy did say this long back, right? He did say that I'm not a human punching bag. I don't let people just come and hit me as they like, right? Where
Mm.
if you look at all the other fighters that Vettori faced, right, they're just not thinking of dodging his punches because they're
Yeah.
overwhelmed by his size. And one thing, see, I look at the eyes, okay? I look at the eyes, although I'm not there one on one with them, but from what I can see on
Yeah.
TV, I used to
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
their eyes, and their eyes, like Vettori's eyes always tells me that he's got this urgency, right? Like he needs to finish it, otherwise
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
going to it's
No
going to screw up,
composure. He
right?
didn't have composure through the whole fight.
Exactly. And that's not something you need a you that's not something you should have when you're going against a guy like Izzy. He's an observant man, he's
Yeah.
tactical, he is multi-talented in all forms of MMA, right? Like from
Yeah.
and let's let I'll commend him, dude. Like I really thought fighting Jan Blachowicz, he exposed his wrestling abilities, but then it's
Yeah.
clear that it more than wrestling abilities, it was the weight also because Jan Blachowicz, like he's a guy who knocks people out, but he couldn't knock out Izzy, right? So that
Yeah.
shows the respect, right? So all
Yeah.
he did was like flatten him out with his body weight and then
Yeah.
let the points accumulate, right?
Yeah.
So which was smart as a champion should think, which is smart.
Yeah.
People may not like it, but I don't care, right?
Yeah.
But Izzy, I think he knew people are going to come at him thinking that this was the whole. So he fixed his takedown defense. I don't think he ever did have bad takedown defense, but he sharpened it, I guess, in this fight, and that really showed. But what I really take away from this fight is he played with Vettori, dude. Like I really think he
He played
could
with
have
his
finished the
emotions,
fight.
bro.
Yeah, I
He
think
was
he
playing
just wanted
around. He
to
was
prove a
playing around.
point.
Yeah, yeah, he was
Yeah,
just playing around. That's what I said. No, there was a point where I was like, do you really need to take it to 5 rounds, or are you just messing around with him right now?
exactly, right. Like
That's what I
I
felt
think like
because
yeah. Have you seen his kickboxing days? His kickboxing day before he came to
yeah, 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 yeah,
UFC.
yeah, yeah.
I
I've seen a
mean,
few videos of
if
his.
if he had played like couple of those combinations on Vettori would have been like scrambled, bro. He'd be looking at all kinds of
Yeah,
things. He doesn't know where to see the shots coming from, right? And
yeah,
he could have
exactly.
finished the fight.
Yeah,
So I mean, he did that to Whittaker, dude. You don't think he can do that to Vettori? Because I never saw
exactly.
Vettori beating Whittaker when he came into this fight. I never saw that, right?
No.
But only because Whittaker chose to postpone his fight with Izzy. That's why Vettori came into the
Vittori
picture, right? But
got the fight, yeah, because as we
yeah,
know, Izzy wants to be a active champion, so that's
yeah,
also props to him. That's
yeah,
also big props to him. But like I said, with yeah, it was just too clinical for me. Like when it came to Izzy, he was smart. He knew when to push in. He knew when to step back. He knew how to mess around with him also. Bait him
yeah,
and do all those things.
yeah,
Those little leg movements where what do you say, Vittori goes for the guard with his calf and stuff like that. You could
yeah.
see Izzy playing with him, and like you said, and what I mentioned earlier also was Vettori did not have the composure for this fight. He
Yeah,
he
man.
he he just wanted to finish it, and I'm like, dude, calm down, take a breather, see what's happening. And I don't think his what do you say, sideline also helped him, to be honest, right?
Yeah,
Whenever
I mean, but
the
he has a
between the
legendary
rounds.
coach. I forgot his name. He has a legendary coach. I forgot his name,
Yeah,
but
but
he is
but
good.
between the rounds, he's like, "You're losing, go in. You're losing, go in." I'm like, "No, no, no, no. Tell him to assess the situation." But then again, you never know. No, the coach knows the fighter, so the coach might know that this guy is not someone who can assess the situation and then,
I don't know, but
take
if
the
did you
fight.
hear Vettori? Like Vettori was asking his coach, "I want that round, right? I want
Yeah,
that
yeah,
round, right?"
yeah.
Like he was busy
He
focusing on that.
yeah, delusional again. Like I said, he was kind of delusional for even thinking that he won a single round in that. I think the judges were
Yeah,
kind to him and gave it all 10-9 rounds and not 10-8
yeah,
rounds.
yeah.
But
10-8 rounds.
yeah, but then
It is
again,
what it
it
is.
is
Yeah.
yeah, exactly, it is what it is. So we can't just keep saying anything about it. That would have been insane, though. Imagine 50-40.
I know, right? I know, right? A perfect fight for Izzy, right?
Oh, that would have been insane, dude, to be honest. This was a
Yeah,
perfect fight. He didn't lose any rounds, so that's one good thing.
yeah,
But I feel this is
Yeah.
me putting
Explain these holes you see
stuff.
in his
Yeah,
game.
this is me putting stuff into the mix, right? Imagine a really well-rounded
Mm-hmm.
MMA wrestler. I'm not saying just a
Mm.
regular wrestler, MMA wrestler who has a decent stand-up game goes
Mm.
in and fights with Izzy. What would the results be?
Okay.
I see only two things, right? Either Izzy
Okay.
knocks him out,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
Izzy cannot knock him out, I'm sorry. I'm going team wrestler all day long.
Team
Now
wrestler,
I
huh?
I need you to try to prove me wrong right now.
Okay. Only
Yeah.
because I think Izzy's jiu-jitsu has not been exposed yet, right? We haven't been able to see his jiu-jitsu yet, and I think I, I have faith in his jiu-jitsu only because if you remember in the Gaslam fight,
Mhm.
when he was taken down on the ground, he
Mhm.
was mixing it up on the ground with his legs. Okay, so
Mhm.
he
Yeah.
knows how to use his legs in jiu-jitsu, which see, look, wrestling, yeah, he can be taken down because Vettori did take him down, right? He can be
Mhm.
taken down quite easily because he doesn't have
Mm.
that strength to like not take the bulldozer
Yeah.
that comes at you, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, he can be taken out, but at the same time, because of his lean figure and because he is tall, right, and he is able to push off the
Push.
body,
Yeah.
he is able to slip out of the wrestlers. But at the same time, my counter to that, apart from, so if he gets taken down, yes, I think he can defend it with his jiu-jitsu and then gain the respect of the wrestler more than pushing the wrestler off. Okay, so
Mhm.
that's one way. But at the same time, if a wrestler is coming, what does a wrestler always have to do? Shoot, right? They always
Mm.
have to shoot for the thing. And I think like if Izzy knows that this guy is more of a wrestler than a striker, right? Then I think he knows how to catch a wrestler at the shoot.
Yeah.
So that is one way he can probably get these wrestlers. But yeah, that's a test we need to see, and hopefully Whitaker finally can do that because that's the next match, right? Whitaker
Yeah.
versus Izzy, and
Yeah.
Whitaker needs to bloody use his wrestling, dude, for a
He
change.
needs
Like
to hold
stop.
him down, dude.
Yeah.
Like Whitaker, I feel that he's reached a point like, nah, I need to prove a point in the stand-up, which I don't see. That's also another thing which baffles me, right? For example, one of the biggest example was Ronda Rousey,
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
right?
Hmm.
We
Yeah.
all know what her judo game is like,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's
Unparalleled.
exactly. And what
Yeah.
happened against Holly Holm, right?
Holly Holm. Holly Holm.
Yeah, Holly Holm. What happened? She was like, "No, I'll stand up." I'm like, if you are really good at something, stick to it. And that's
Yeah.
why I
True.
think why you say why GSP has always been great. That's why Khabib has been always been great. That's why let's say Kumar Usman being a wrestler also, but he has a very strong stand-up game also.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why he's always been great. That's why Francis Ngannou, you don't see Francis Ngannou going for shooting at someone's leg or anything. He's just pure
Yeah.
punching power, you know.
Yeah.
All those
Yeah.
guys have stuck to their guns and perfected their craft, and they've made sure that if someone else is coming at them for something with something different, that they can navigate around it and work,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that is the thing that is annoying me right now because Whitaker, I know he has such a good ground game. He has such a good ground game and he's not using it.
Yeah, you know what? Like, remember Whitaker when he on his rise to become the champion before Yoel Romero and all that? How lethal he was! Like, what a killer he was! You could see it in his face, right? Like, it was scary. I used to be scared of
Yeah,
Whitaker's face. Like, I wouldn't
yeah,
want that guy in front of me and
yeah, yeah,
running a
yeah,
train on me, right?
yeah,
Like, I wouldn't want a guy like him. But now when it's become, I don't know, he's become a dad and all that right now. They say like once when you become a dad, you either have something really way more to fight for, or you become soft, right? You become
soft,
nicer
yeah.
and all that. So
He's
that
become
happens. So
nicer.
I don't know. He's become really nice, and I miss the lethal Whitaker. Right?
Yeah,
Like this is the same thing that happened to Tyron. Although I'm not comparing Whitaker and Tyron at all, they're not on the same level. Like
no,
Tyron, definitely one of the welterweight goats. But remember when he was like against Koscheck and against Lawler and against Till. Like
yeah,
he
tell.
had that viciousness, right? You could
Yep,
see it in his face. He was ready to kill, right? Where
yep,
later on he kind of got softer in the sport, and you can't get softer in the sport because you're only
yeah.
getting younger guys who are getting more lethal and
Exactly,
more
exactly,
right.
yeah.
So I don't know about Izzy. Izzy doesn't really ever had that kind of a mentality where he needs to be this killer, but at the same time he's got this like I figured you out and I can
Yeah,
outclass you. He has that
yeah,
mentality, right? Which I really like
yeah.
about Izzy. He's a very strange character compared to all the other champions because he has
Very true.
that like he's very respectful about being better than you. Like I
Yeah.
know I'm better than you, but I'll be respectful about it, and we'll see after the thing. And then also, but I don't know. Who do you think is going to win, Izzy and Vitico?
If we see the old Whitaker in the ring, if he brings the old guy back, Izzy
Yeah.
doesn't stand a chance. To be honest. To be honest, just
Mm-hmm.
with the experience, with the grit, with the ruthlessness, you've
Mm-hmm.
seen Whitaker become ruthless. You've seen him
Yeah.
fight, right?
Yeah.
And just because of the pure ruthlessness and the way he can take fighters down, I see Whitaker winning it. But again, here's the thing: if we see the soft Whitaker, I don't see that. I meaning it will be a really good fight. It'll be a close fight. I don't think Izzy's gonna knock him down this time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
Izzy will take it. See, that's the thing.
Yeah, I think Whitaker's only chance to beat Adesanya is to have him on the ground and grind him out on the ground.
Yeah,
That's it.
most definitely, most definitely.
Yeah,
Just ground and pound,
because
ground and pound. That's
ground and
it.
pound. Yeah, because if you get a knockout, well and good. That's the game of MMA. You just never know
Yeah,
who when you get knocked out. But
exactly. Yeah,
yeah, tactically, yes, you have to wrestle him down to the ground and keep him there and make him work to defend, right, and not succeed in the defense. And that's the way
yeah.
he will constantly accumulate points. You can only win by if you go the distance with Izzy. Izzy, on the other hand, I he's a sniper, man.
Dude, I
He's a
really
sniper.
don't see what you say anyone winning against Izzy going the distance. To be honest.
Yeah, man. I that
Because
just
like you
shows
said, he's a
like
sniper,
where.
you know, his accuracy level is way too high. He knows when to
Yeah,
move in, when to come out, all those things. So his accuracy level is too good. So I really don't
yeah,
see anyone winning against Izzy over 5 rounds. But
yeah,
if on a stand-up game, I'm talking purely on a stand-up game, but if he's taken to the ground, we saw what Jan Blachowicz did with him. So if
yeah.
he's taken to the ground, yeah, most definitely that Whittaker is winning. Like, okay,
Dude,
now
if yeah,
what will be interesting is after 2 months the fight happens and Izzy proves us wrong. He does some crazy triangle choke or something, and we'll be like, what?
dude, I really would love to see some jiu-jitsu on Izzy because I know Izzy is a jiu-jitsu guy also.
Yeah.
So I know he knows jiu-jitsu. I know he's got IQ. He's got good fight IQ. That's one
Is
thing
he is
about him.
is he a black belt yet or not? Still.
I'm not sure, but I'm just going based on what I saw in the Gastelum fight, the way he was playing on the ground and what
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
doing with his legs. Like I just know he knows jiu-jitsu, and the way he was like shuffling on the ground, like you can tell like the man has done jiu-jitsu, right?
yeah,
So I'm not gonna. So I'm waiting to see that. I'm waiting, and which makes me concerned actually for the division because more than getting worried about the flyweight division, like we need to start getting worried for the middleweight division a bit because who does he have left, right? Because if
left. Yeah,
say if Usman and Adesanya were not friends, right, or were not tight, like as they are right now, representing Nigeria and all that together, like
yeah,
they would have asked Usman to jump the weight to come up and fight against Izzy, and then we would have had a super fight or something like that. They
yeah,
would have done that, but only because
yeah.
Usman
They
and
won't.
Izzy were very vocal that they will never fight each other as
They
long as they
won't.
are in the top of the
Yeah,
division, right? They'll never fight each
yeah.
other. That would have been the direction, but yeah, I think yeah, we need to get some new contenders. If I'm not wrong, right now, Ultimate Fighter is going on right now. If I'm not
Yeah,
wrong,
just started, just started. So I'm
yeah,
hoping
two
there's some
episodes are
good,
done.
yeah, I hope some good fighters come out of that so that we can see a new few addition to the roster. Because I also feel like what you said, the roster is kind of getting depleted right now.
Yeah,
And we're not see even let's talk about the heavyweight also division. We don't see much highlight superstar names coming in the heavyweight division now.
yeah,
Yeah, what do you say? Ngannou has to fight We have Derek Lewis and Rosenstruck.
Hmm.
He's already
Yeah.
knocked out Rosenstruck, but still Rosenstruck is back on a winning path. So he
Yeah.
eventually will reach there. But next is Derek Lewis, according to me. Or do you think
Yeah.
what he says, John Jones is going to come in between that? What do you think?
I don't know. It's a very I don't know. I think Dana White must be really pissed with the heavyweight division only because I know that Derek Lewis is ready to fight Francis right
Yeah,
now, but I think Francis is right now playing that whole pay me better and I need the big money fight, and John
yeah,
Jones is being John Jones as usual with the
yeah,
UFC. So I think that mess is happening right now, and dude, I kind of want to blame that Jake Paul character for kind of like irritating like this division,
yep.
like like
He's
like
simply for good for nothing. He's simply ruining the game just for the fact that he's getting his views and his followers.
yeah, you know what,
I really don't
actually
like the whole
yeah,
thing that's happening, to be honest.
actually, like, you know what, to the viewers out there, right, who are watching, like, if you would like to comment, like, what you think about the fighter pay situation going on with UFC compared to other combat sports right now, if you can share some opinions on the comments, we'll read that, and then I think in the next episode, let's dive
Yeah,
into that a bit.
yeah,
Yeah, let's dive into the fighter pay
yeah.
situation
Just
because
the
I
way
think
we
there's a
spoke
lot of
about this yesterday, right?
yeah,
The
there's a lot
conversation we
of
had yesterday.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
misconstruction going on with this whole fighter pay, and I think we need to talk about that. And yeah, we'll do that. But yeah, this I think was a great first episode to the
Yeah,
MMA show.
definitely, definitely. It's
Yeah,
been, we
yeah,
just keep going on and on. This is the problem with us, right? Me and him, we start talking MMA. Actually, to be honest, start talking anything. We just keep going
yeah,
on and on. But when it comes to MMA, we'll just keep jumping parallels and we'll be like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
man, we talked
I
about
mean,
GSP, we mentioned Chuck Liddell.
yeah,
Like,
we spoke
people
about
be,
Spike
now,
TV, Fox News, and now
Ex-
ESPN.
Exactly. Okay, guys, by the way, Google, if you don't know who Chuck Liddell is, you need to Google Chuck Liddell right now.
Yeah,
Get yourself updated, see who were the greats before. We have a lot of, like, Luke Rockhold and all those guys.
yeah,
A lot of great champs before Michael Bisping, all those guys. So
yeah,
you guys need to check them out, see the whole fight game, so that you guys know where we come from, right?
yeah,
What
yeah,
molded
yeah,
our love for the game, right? It was not
yeah.
this. It's not Zufa LLC which made us UFC
Yeah.
fans.
Yeah.
Okay?
It was way before UFC became $1 billion company.
Exactly, exactly. It was way
Yeah.
before that, right?
Yeah.
And back then we used to not get live matches. We used to watch whatever came on repeat on the TV, and what do you
Yeah.
say on YouTube, whatever clips I could get to watch, I
Yeah.
used to watch, and I think Advait also used to do the same thing.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
UFC became. I'm really glad for Zufa because we are
Yeah.
able to get it live and we are able to get it marketed the way it has become, the big beast it
Yeah.
has become, that more people can get in on the conversation. I'm really loving how people are getting into the MMA scene and they're really interested in knowing about these fighters. And I'm one of those guys who welcome everyone with open hands, and I don't say, oh, I'm one of the purists, stay away and I'm not going to have a conversation with you. No, no, no. If you're here to have a good conversation with us, we are always open to that conversation. We would love to have people on with us in this conversation, in this mix. We will definitely do a clubhouse event also in regards to this, where we can
Yeah.
have the OG guys who have been following UFC for a very long time. We can have people who don't follow UFC particularly, but who have been in the MMA game for a long time. We have like proper
Hmm.
fighters and all those guys who can talk technical as hell that we won't even be able to talk because we are
Yeah.
sitting here as a spectator and enjoying the sport and talking about the sport as a spectator and nothing else, not an expert, not what you say breaking down play by play or any of those
Yeah.
things, and we
Yeah.
leave that to the experts as always, and we are not
Yeah.
none of that. But like I said, this is an open platform and an open conversation. Just because our podcast or our show is on YouTube doesn't mean that we are not going to engage with the audience that we have. Even if it's like two people who are talking to us on the comments, we would be glad to respond to you, start that open conversation, and build this into an MMA community which we all can be proud of. So we just starting the movement over here from our houses, respective houses, from India, from Saudi, and if we can build this community and show to the UFC and show to the MMA world out there in the West that there is a huge following and an organic following who really loves the sport, nothing more like it, to be honest.
And we keep it respectful. Number one,
Yeah,
we love all the fighters, and whenever
yeah,
we get critical or whenever we get like commendable about fighters and all that, like it's just because we have this insane, like you can't break our love for this sport. We just love
exactly.
this sport. Like I have truly kind of lost interest in other sports because of this game. Like this the fight game is just something I've been in love with. Like I've been
Yeah,
watching it since I don't even know how long. Like just trying, hoping that somebody would upload a clip on YouTube and I would watch those clips because you wouldn't get that in Indian TV, Indian
exactly,
cable at all.
exactly.
And now finally I have it not just on like cable TV. I have it on OTTs as well, and I'm
Yeah,
happy I have full access. And now because of that, like we are now here to start this podcast on like a sub channel on MMA itself, just exclusive to MMA. And as always, like this is what I believe in. Always like the fight game. You don't play fighting. You fight
you
fighting.
fight
And
fighting.
hope you guys enjoyed the show, and stay tuned for the next episode. Hopefully, we'll try to do this on a weekly basis, or every time there's a card coming up, or anytime there's
Yeah,
an MMA there's anything MMA related update that is worth talking about. We're
yeah,
gonna jump in and give you guys some content
most definitely.
to
Yeah,
check it out. Yeah.
yeah,
So
most
let us know
definitely.
if you guys have any suggestions to cover in this kind of a show. Let us know, and yeah.
Yeah,
Cheers,
just tell us
guys.
how you
Yeah.
felt about it. If you like it, please do like, subscribe, and share our channel with your friends.
Yeah.
Let us know also suggestions on making a separate, what do you say, sub channel to the MMA scene if you want. But we prefer to keep it at the average humans because
Yeah.
this is what we started with Illinois, and it's just that when it comes to MMA, we just have a different level of passion for it. So yeah,
Yeah.
and Illinois' graciousness that we've been able to do this. So we're very happy for that. So
Yeah.
hopefully you like it. Like, subscribe, and we'll put down our socials down below so that you can follow us on our socials also. So hope to
All
see you
right.
guys soon. Take
See
care.
you guys.
Peace.
This
See
is
you guys.
Advait.
And this is Abdul Wajid signing out. Thanks.